Alexandria Bill, aka September Sapphire from the band Misfit Shadows. You may also know me from Twitter. I have wanted to make videos of this type for a while, to have doing commentary on bands that I listened to when I was growing up, or that I started listening to in high school, who started around that time, and have either blown up since then, or just died out, but made a mark on the music scene regardless. So I'm kind of testing out things a little bit today. Of my fans on in my bedroom. I don't know how it's going to sound, and there's literally a thunderstorm going on outside. But we'll see how it sounds and go from there to make changes for future videos. Now, when you think about Canadian rock bands from the 90s, I'm not sure 3 Days Grace would immediately come to mind, but they made their mark on the music scene more than most people realize. They had several songs that were popular on mainstream radio, including a lot that I didn't realize they made until later, because I was fairly young when their first 2 albums came out, which were their most popular. And one thing I find super interesting is that they have consistently made albums every 3 years since 2003, all the way up until 2018. Now, I don't know if they're planning to put out an album this year in 2021, but if they did, then that would continue the pattern. Now, back in 2003, when bands still got a lot of major radio play, and it was easy for them to do that, 3 Days Grace released their first album, their self-titled album, which featured their first and arguably their biggest hit, I Hate Everything About You. Interestingly enough, the demo version of this song, when played to a major record label, was the song that actually got them their first record deal. Everyone who was old enough to have a memory during this time remembers this song enough to know every word. And by the end of the next year, the album was platinum in the US and double platinum in Canada, where they're from. This album also featured the songs Just Like You, which wasn't nearly as big as the previously mentioned breakout hit, I Hate Everything About You, but it did get a significant amount of radio play as well, and I do remember listening to it on the radio growing up. Their 2006 album, 1X, was centered around lead singer Adam Gontier's addiction to Oxycontin, and it also featured songs that became major hits from the band. The singles, Animal I Have Become, Riot, and Never Too Late are somewhat on the same level as I Hate Everything About You as far as their popularity, because they were also hugely popular on mainstream radio at the time. And Pain, although played less often, also charted well and was well known. This album went double platinum in Canada and triple platinum in the US. In 2009, they released their third studio album called Life Starts Now. Despite this being their highest charting album due to expectations people had of it before even hearing it, it had a lot of negative reviews, and it wasn't as popular in the mainstream music scene as any singles from their previous albums. Some critics even went as far as to say that they were recycling themes from their previous albums and milking the success of previous songs that were centered around their lead singer's addiction. And the album, unfortunately, was the end of their mainstream success. Each album after this continued to chart well in Canada, but each one charted worse than the last everywhere else in the world. Now, a lot of bands who kind of lose that mainstream success after being on the radio and things like that, they often break up, but it's nice to see that they're actually still, performing and making music in as recently as 2018. I'm not sure if they're going to make an album this year, but if they do, then it's kind of crazy that they're still going. They've been going since they formed in 1997. Originally, the band at Groundswell. In 1992 was when they formed, and that band released one album and broke up, but they came back together as 3 Days Grace that we know today. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching, and look for another video very soon.